Hello everyone, this is Maria from mariascraftingcorner.com. Welcome and thank you so much for being here with me today. So this is another pre-recorded video. Today, let's start with the basics. Today is June 24th, 2023. And next weekend I'm not going to be available to make a paper pumpkin kit alternative. And for some odd reason, I've not received my June kit yet. I know there have been some issues with the shipment. We received a note that there were issues with it. And so I was waiting for it, but bottom line, I have not received it. Therefore, I checked today the tracking and how you get all that information, and it just said that information was not available. So something's going on with my paper pumpkin kit, bottom line. And since I'm not going to be able to be here next week, I figured I would at least make a video about one of those cards I've had in my mind with stuff I bought for a while, that I've had for a while, and, just kind of have some fun with you guys. I rarely ever work in the cards I do in my lives with, the backgrounds and the coloring, just because those are a little bit more time consuming. And so I kind of decided a little bit ago that it's a good idea to every so often kind of do a video where I highlight those and how to do those, because those are an important part of why the card is beautiful. Well, I think it's beautiful anyways. So let's get started. The basics. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I would love to spoil you. And starting by giving you a free catalog. All I need is for you to send me your name and address to Maria at mariascraftingcorner.com, and I will send that free of charge for you. And you will just enjoy the beauties of the catalog. I am a paper person, so I really enjoy having my catalog and kind of see what I have and, how to mix and match certain things. That works really well for me. And so just let me know, again, Maria at mariascraftingcorner.com. And while we're talking about spoiling you, I do have a very nice rewards program for you. It starts with a free gift that you will get after you purchase $50 before shipping and taxes. You will receive your free gift at the beginning of the following month, because I kind of figure out how to organize my budget that way. So, but you will receive a free gift. This is, let me show you here 1 minute. This is my free gift for this month, and this is the month of June, and those are the mini or the small blending brushes, which I find super useful, especially when you want to work on certain details in cards, right? If you're making just a big background like the one we're going to be making today, fine, a small blending brush is not needed. But if you're just, let's say, working with masks or coloring and embossing folders, then this may be a better option. So again, you will get those for free if you spend $50 before shipping and taxes. All I need you is to attach that host code at the end of your purchase. And don't worry, because if you don't have right now a paper to grab that, don't you worry, just go to my website mariascraftingcorner.com and you will see the host code at the top of the website. Okay, let's see. So that is the main thing. I do want to remind you that we have online exclusives, and I'm just going to remove this host code from here and kind of move that there and move myself there. So these online exclusives will be right there for you on July 6th. I have already kind of worked with you a little bit on some of those July online exclusives. And we're going to be working today with some online exclusives we have already at our Stampin' Up website. So I really like Christmas. I am super excited about what's coming on July 6th, and I will most likely work with you to get some of that stuff so we can have some Christmas fun. I am thinking of making a Christmas in July workshop, something along those lines. So we'll see how that works. In the meantime, we're going to work again with these. I'm going to move a little bit so my chair is here. For those of you that were not here on my previous videos, I broke my foot, and so I have my leg on a chair and a little pillow, and I can't do a whole lot while I'm crafting. That's how it is, right? Nothing we can do about it. Just enjoy what we have. So let's get started. Let me see. And here we go. I definitely am going to move this a tiny bit more. I'm sorry about that, guys. Oops. Let's see. That a little better. And hopefully this works well with me. We're going to use today, okay, let's start with that. 2 different stamp sets. The first one is this one. It's called Inks in the Stars, and it's just a massive, big stamp that I think is going to look gorgeous as a background. So we're going to create a net background today. So this is the first one, and the second one is something we've used in the past. We have not. I just used it once, I think, and I didn't show it off in here. I ended up working it for just one of those extra projects I do for the lives, and this is Rhino Ready. This is available in our website. It's not in a catalog because, again, this is an online exclusive. I love this little buddy here. It's so super cute. It brings 2 different birds, which I really appreciate. And same as always, it has, as you can tell, I've been working with this. It has several extra dies, which is one of the things I really appreciate about Stampin' Up dies. I know I've said this like probably every other video, but it's worth saying every time, and that is that they always include extras, right? Something that's not necessarily related to the stamp. So for example, these trees, and I have one already cut here that we're going to use today. So we have the tree, and we have, well, the trunk, and we have the big leaves, and we have smaller leaves too. Whoops, let me see. Isn't that amazing? It has these, which this is this one. It has these, which you can use either as grass, or you can use as clouds. It doesn't matter how, right? Like, that's pretty amazing. And it also has these other leaves, which I really love, and we're probably going to use some of them today. So let's get back in here. I'm going to put this back in here. So what's going to be our next step, or our first step? Our first step is going to bring our Misty. I know that some people have asked why I'm not using the Stamparatus. So let me attach this, because if I don't do that, it's going to be bugging me all this time. So the reason I am using my Misty instead of the Stamparatus, it's mainly because I can link this to my Amazon store. And since the Stamparatus is retired, it does not go against the Stampin' Up policies and compliance. So I am just using it only because of that. I love my Stamparatus, but again, I'm just trying to make the most out of having the Misty. Okay. True story, I've had the Misty for a very, very, very long time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a piece. This is 4 1/4 by 5 5.5, and I'm just going to attach this here. And actually, I think I just want to make sure, because as you can tell, this is much bigger than our regular stamp, right? More or less. There it goes. Like, all this is bigger, and we're not able to see this. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to bring these together. And I'm going to turn it around and grab it there. And then I'm going to bring my two little magnets here to hold without moving these. So I can just go ahead and grab that, move that out of the way. Now I know these are well aligned, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do, because you could see totally that this piece completely covers the whole page, and I am going to bring a piece of masking tape, and I'm going to grab this in here so it does not move. And now I'm going to bring another piece for the other side. The other side nobody's really going to see. It's going to go against its layer, and I'm going to move this in here, and there we go. So for these specifically, we're not going to use our magnets. Let me bring our oops, of course it's in the way. My Versamark ink. We're going to use some of it. I'm going to use white. So let's bring this up here. I hope you guys are seeing. Okay, let me. Okay, there. You guys seeing okay? I think so. Okay, I'm going to bring my Versamark ink, and I'm going to really, how would you say, fill the whole stamp with ink. Oh, Maria. Guys, I swear to God. So I'm really going to ink well my stamp because it's big. It is harder to really stamp well, right? Let's face it. It's a big stamp. So I am just going to go ahead and ink this well. Now that we have that done, we're going to go and stamp this. And yes, this is a big stamp, so take your time. Take your time. That is why we are using the Misty, right? I'm just making sure it looks like it did pretty well. So I am not going to ink it again. I'm going to remove this, and bring my little holder like that. Let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to bring my white embossing powder. Okay. And we are going to just go ahead and emboss this. I know this is hard to see because it's white on white. Oops. But it will really pop up once we start working on the background. For those of you that do not know, this technique is called resist embossing. And I'm holding this a little bit so I can really kind of clean those areas where I didn't. Okay, I think we got this. I'm giving it a little bit of a flap in there. It looks fairly okay. Okay, I'm going to bring this back. I just remove it to make sure things were looking okay. We're going to remove this out of the way, and we are going to bring our heat tool. So I always, and it's hard because my heat tool is attached there and it does not make it all the way here. Sorry about the noise. I always kind of let it heat up in the back because paper can get burnt, obviously, right? It's paper. And so I don't want it to get another color, even if it's going to be covered. And once I feel it's getting warm, I bring it to the front and start embossing all that. And I'm going to be out of your view for a few seconds, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, it seems like this is ready. I'm doing just a last checkup to make sure that everything was heat embossed. I am seeing a couple of areas that have not. So you can tell it is embossed once you're able to see like that plasticky look. I call it plasticky look. I don't know how to say it in English. Can you tell? See how beautiful it looks in there? Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to leave this with those. And I'm going to bring a piece of old grit paper I have here that we're going to be using. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, I made a little spill of that. And that's going to be in the way. So I'm just bringing my very, very well-loved rag. And we are going to be now working on this. Okay, so we're going to stand this. I'm going to glue it back in there, right here, back in there. And now we are going to bring these 3 colors. So this is Boho Blue, Night of Navy, and Misty Moonlight. I think I'm going to bring, I'm thinking which one I want. I think I'm going to bring the Balmy Blue. Okay, and we're going to start with the lightest up here and the darkest up top. Okay, and I'm going to start with the lightest, and for that I'm going to bring one of my blending brushes that have lighter. I'm just kind of like cleaning in here because this one has, I don't know if you can tell, a little bit more of that like Bermuda Bay color. Yeah, but I'm going to use this one. So hopefully that does not like mess our color. I just ordered a few extra blending brushes. And I'm going to turn this around. Okay, I glue it and I'm going to turn it around. Haha. I'm going to turn this around because it's easier for me to work this way. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start in there and go slowly all over that first, I want to say probably the first fourth of the card. Don't worry much about this area because this is going to be actually covered. I still did it all because it makes sense to me when I'm working to just do it all and then cover what I need to cover, right? It's just a little bit easier for me. Again, if you rather just cut a little bit or heat emboss a little bit, that makes sense too. So we have our first Balmy Blue in there, and now I'm going to bring Boho Blue, which is a little bit darker, and I think that has an extra blue there, a little bit like I was saying, kind of Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana. So I'm bringing that Boho Blue, and I'm going to go ahead and start blending. And I don't know if you can tell already how beautiful this looks. I'm going to open actually all my pads. This is one of the reasons I love these, having this in here, because it's so easy for me to see from, you know, when I'm working, which color is which. I'm moving that a little bit. And I'm bringing the Misty Moonlight, which is a little bit darker. Right? Oh my God, I absolutely love it. And I'm cleaning in here and grabbing some of the Boho Blue again to darken this. I really need just a Boho Blue one and a Misty Moonlight one. But again, I just recently made an order because absolutely needed. I'm going to bring that Balmy Blue. I'm going to keep it open because I'm going to need it here in a minute. And the last one I'm going to do is bring the Night of Navy. Okay, and Night of Navy is a very, very dark color, as you guys can tell. I'm going to give you my first tip today. Sometimes it's a good idea to use a post-it note so you can hold on to this without leaving your big fingers in there, right? And I'm bringing again some of that. Oh my God, look at that. I'm so glad that I am going to cover that, right? Okay, so I'm bringing the Night of Navy here, which really, really darkens this and makes it look very nighty, right? And now I'm bringing that Misty Moonlight, which provides a lighter color within the darkness of the blues, because these both Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy are dark blues. Okay, I'm gonna kind of clean that And I'm using, that's why I save all my grid papers because I can reuse them as much as I want. And I am bringing now this boho blue again. And now the magic is going to be 2 extra ingredients. Bringing back my balmy blue. And I'm going to go here on top and help with that blending. Now I don't know if you can tell how beautiful this looks. Okay. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? I know you guys can tell here because I did something I did not do something I should have, which was using my little pouch to, really make this stick perfectly well, just where it needs to be stuck, but it happens. I was kind of in a rush trying to get this set up and completely forgot this. I'm going to bring a little bit more of that balmy blue, and actually I'm going to clean this a tiny bit, and I'm going to bring, I think I want to bring the Assure Afternoon. See how this goes. Let me bring another of my blending brushes. Yeah, I think we need something like this in here. Just to give it a little bit more difference between those blues. Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy are definitely 2 beautiful blues, but they're very, very related, right? They're very similar. Much darker, of course, the navy blue, but they're definitely very similar. And I'm bringing again that balmy blue back so I can create a lighter setting. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this looks gorgeous. So I'm done with the blues. I'm going to put them away because I always say open stamp pads in my craft room is a recipe for disaster. And there's a lot of them and they're very strong, very colorful. Let me see, and the last one. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to throw this away for a minute. The last thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring my last, another one of my blending brushes. I completely black out. And I'm going to bring basic gray. So when you have these and you do the basic gray, it really, really gives it that feel of night. And I'm doing mostly on the edges, right? But it does create that definitely feel of dark in night. Just, it kind of sets the real mood, okay? You can use a Memento Black completely. That's absolutely okay. I sometimes find that my Memento Black does not do exactly what I want. And the last step, besides taking these off, which I'm going to do right now, the last step is bringing a piece of rag or something and clean that. And now what you can see is much brighter. See how much I'm taking off? I'm just removing that ink from the embossed, and it just looks so beautiful. Don't worry about this because we're going to cover that. Okay, let's remove this because we're not going to need this anymore, and we're going to start working. Actually, we may need that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit of these. So it's, let's see. Let's put this here for a minute out. We're going to grab a piece of black cardstock, just 8.5 by 11. We're going to cut it at 5.5 at the 11-inch side, and we are then going to score this on the 8.5 side at 4.25. So pretty much that is our card base. Okay, so we have one, and I'm going to use this beautiful black paper. I know it looks very crazy when you see it in the camera, but it belongs to that Delightfully Eclectic packet, and I am in love with that packet. But I'm going to just cut a little bit here. So I'm cutting at 4 1/8. And we're going to bring, look at that beautiful pattern. I absolutely love this. 5 3/8. Okay, so we are going to, this is going to be our first layer here. And I'm going to move these away, hopefully, where it's not going to be in our way. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a little bit of here. So this needs to be 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut that first quarter here. And I'm going to cut these at 4. And what that means, yes, you figure that much, is that we are going to need to bring back our gray and re-enhance, or re-ink that little border. And we don't need to put extra on it. We're just going to go as is with the leftover, and that, you see how much that was good enough. So my thought is, if you are in, how would you call this, in Africa, in the middle of the night, you're probably going to have a beautiful, beautiful starry night. And that's why I'm bringing my rhino here. This piece, I am going to bring another piece of, where is it? I thought I had one, but it looks like not. Are very heavy cardstock, so we can do some coloring. I'm not going to do tons of coloring, but I'm going to do a little bit of it. And I'm going to bring, I'm just trying to decide which one I want better. And I think I like this one because it already has the little birdie. So I think that's the one I'm going to use. Let's bring him out. Whoops, that's kind of stuck in there, man. Okay, and I'm going to bring one of my blocks, our Memento Black in. You need this in order to use, or when you're doing coloring with blenders. So I think that's good enough. Uh-oh, look at that. I'm making messes all over. But we're just going to cut in here because we're going to die cut this friend in a minute or two. So there's no problem with it being there. Let's remove this. Okay. And now I'm going to bring Pebble Bath, the both of them, the light and the dark. And I am going to bring the light gray granite. So I'm going to work with these 4 colors to color our friend here. And I'm going to start with the light gray granite, which you can tell is very, very light. And I am just going to go kind of really mark those areas where it should be a little darker. And that's how I always start. You guys know I always start with the lightest of the tones and kind of move around where I am. I'm just kind of giving myself some idea of where where I need to put the darks. You will see that in an animal like this, in a piece like this that is bigger, I leave a lot of white. And now I've been using the small tips better. They've been working a little bit better for me lately. Okay, so now I'm bringing the dark Pebble Path. Very, very softly in these areas. Okay, I don't want to go in here because if you have your light like this, you can tell I can see light in here but darker here, right? So I'm leaving that one without any darker color. I'm going to go there, and same here, right? I'm going back to this area, so towards the back where there should be a little bit more darkness if you want. And of course this last little piece, I'm moving this a tiny bit like that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start with that. And we go back and forth a lot when we're coloring. I'm going to bring the second, so this is the light pebble path, and we are going to finish some of these that are going to be dark, right? They're just going to be dark because they are underneath. They're all shadowed, I guess. So let's go ahead and start. And so what I am doing is I am leaving that white, and I am starting kind of really pushing all over. Now if you notice, I always go in color on top of that darker color, right? Always. You can tell that. So that makes it, that's what helps a little bit with the darks and the lights, right? Let me show you this. If I just put this in here, there is much less definition. Let me do this. I'm just going to move this a little bit further. Sorry about my reach there. That's probably much better. So you're probably actually seeing here what I am doing. Okay. And I'm going to go again with these light pebble path all over, and I'm just creating more areas where I'm using this pebble path, okay? Just like that. When you're using blenders, you want to experiment with colors, right? Alcohol blenders have that ability. You need to experiment, and this is, I'm going to try this here and see how we do here. Is this too light? It seems like it's too light, so I'm going to bring the dark gray granite. This is here, so we're going to get that there. You see, it's a different tone. It's a tiny bit of a different tone, definitely. Like, there's no doubt about it. But it's good enough that we can blend it in. So this is, again, the dark gray granite. And I'm just going, again, see, I'm going all over that area that I have already covered with the darker colors. Okay, more like that, I think. And then the last piece I'm going to use, or the last color, is the light gray granite. And I am, again, really going all over. And actually, I'm going to bring this. As you guys can probably tell, my little pointy is very messed up at this point in time. And I just bought a brand new one, but I just want to use the most out of this until it's done. And I don't know if you can tell, but I still have not covered all over there. And actually, I'm going to bring the brand new one. Oh, this smoky slate. Let's see. I have a couple. I end up realizing that I use grays a lot. So, let's see. Oh, look at that. Nothing like a re-inked marker, huh? Okay. And then there, what I'm going to do is here I'm going to bring these little tip. And I am not even going to re-ink a lot or go over a lot. And that's your little friend. You see how simple that is? I'm going to bring the light pebble path and kind of just going to go in those darker areas to really darken them a bit more. It's pretty juicy blender because it's brand new. So, and I'm like you see, I'm just giving it. But because this image is saturated at this point in time, and I'm going to make it a little bit closer that way. When I put this in here, it gets absorbed again because this is pretty saturated. You see how it gets absorbed? I don't really need to do a whole lot blending extra. It just gets absorbed, but is able to give us that dark, hint of darkness that we're looking for. You see how cool is that? And I'm going to bring the darkest of them all a tiny bit here. And again, see, it all gets pretty absorbed in there. Again, because the paper is pretty saturated with the alcohol, and so it helps a lot to get it that way. That did not get absorbed, and I don't know if you guys can see, so I'm just bringing a little bit of that lighter pebble path. Now, I went off a couple of places, and I have a gel pen that I use all the time when I messed up my little images, because that of course happens. And as you can tell, that helps quite a lot. And I just leave it like that. I don't think that things have to be perfect. I am being really honest about this. Now I need to know which one is the one that is, this is the new one, and this is the old one. And I'm still going to use the old one here. And I'm going to tell you why, guys, why. This looks pretty rugged when you use it, just because it's, again, older. And I'm just going to let that be for a minute and bring, if I find it, I don't know where it is. Oh, that's not cool. I can't find my color blender. That is not cool. It should be somewhere here. So we are going to keep using these, not this one. This is the darkest of them all. This is the oldest. As you can tell, my little pointy thingy, it's not doing very well there. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over that same color. So this is the same color, right? And I'm just going to end up there without not re-inking, without going over again. And I am just using, again, that same color. And I'm going to bring, I want it a little bit whiter, which is why I was looking for my blending pen, but my blender, but I just can't find it. So there's that. It happens. It's all good. I'm going to bring another shade of the gray in here, so his little tail is noticeable. And the last thing we're going to do is color this friend. And because the rest of the card is going to have like grays and greens and dark blues, I'm going to bring some reds. This is a small little image, and I am using Poppy Parade here. And I'm just going to like really use a little bit of the light one, bring the dark one, and then bring the light one again. And you will barely see the difference, but we tried, huh? I'm going to bring a little bit again, the dark one, and just really try to put some extra red there on the bottom, which is where it would be more noticeable. A little bit of pumpkin pie for his little peak, and that's really tiny peak, so that's good enough. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to be back in a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these and be right back. Okay, our little hippo is ready. Let me make this a tiny bit further away now. Okay, so we have our night scene, we have our hippo, our card base, and the layer. So let's start putting this card together, because it'll be easier to decorate once we have it in there. I'm bringing my bone folder to really get that crease going. I'm bringing my Stampin' Seal Plus here, and my silicone craft sheet here, so we can use this. And I'm going to open this up and put our layer in there. And now we're going to bring this back in here, and you see it just gives a little pop in the edge. I'm going to definitely, we need more space here. And we are going to adhere this piece that we've been working on. Okay. It's a little bit harder to see because it's black on black, right? But I think we're going to make it just fine. I think we did it. Actually, I think it's a little crooked, but I don't think anybody will be able to tell. The next thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of old olive, and I'm going to cut a tiny piece of 4. So you guys can tell, I've been using it a little bit. So I'm just going to cut 4 by, I'm going to say 2. No, I'm going to cut a 2. So 4 by 2.5. And we are going to bring again a little piece here. We're going to be using blends a lot today. And I'm going to bring my, where is it? My Mossy Meadow. And let's see. And I'm going to go all over like that. Just kind of, it's just to give it some depth, really. We're not trying to like make this perfect blending in here. It's just giving it some blend. I'm not very concerned about that because I'm going to tear this off here in a minute. Let's put that out of the way. This goes back where it's not in my way, and we're going to tear this off, and I'm going to go back and forth a little bit just like that. And you see how it gets that little extra color of green, and I love it. Okay, so now we're going to bring again our piece, and we're going to go for it like that, and then it just gives that idea almost of a mountain, right? And I really, really like it. So this should be the same size as our piece in here, which it is. And we are going to adhere this with some Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, I'm going to see, I don't know if you can tell, I went a little over with my Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, so now we have a little scene, and we're going to bring our pieces. I have one of those beautiful trees, and I'm thinking I'm going to put that like right there. No, actually higher. And I'm going to bring our friend who's going to go as, you know, like the focal point. Like there. I have, where are they? Before, I have had colored some of this, and I'm just going to put it in there. Like that. And where is? And I have a couple of these leaves. And I am just going to kind of put them behind him. Maybe, no. Maybe I won't use them. I am second guessing, so I don't need to use them, really. And I'm going to bring one of these other colors. We'll probably need to cut that one. And see, somewhere like that. I am thinking that looks really cute. And before we go any further, let's move this ahead and bring our sentiment. So this stamp comes with that rhino ready. And we're going to stamp here with the Mossy Meadow. Yep, it works well. I always try it out first. And there it goes. Hope your birthday is wild. So I'm going to put that there. Bring my Mossy Meadow out of the way. And we have to decide where we want this. And I think I want it up here. What you guys think? I think it looks cute up there. Okay. Let's remove everything and start putting things together. I'm going to bring my glue because it's always a little bit easier with glue. And I'm going to add it up here towards the edge. I'm going to bring the little tree. It should go like this, but if I put it in here, it'll be fine. So let's go ahead and bring this up too. And I'm just putting little bits of glue all over. And I'm actually putting that up high here. Barely touching it because I really want it a little higher. And now we're going to bring our tree and we're going to put it up here like that. And it just looks so freaking cute. And I'm going to bring glue. And we're going to put our Hope Your Birthday is Wilder store at the top. And the last piece is going to bring just our beautiful rhino. And yes, you figured that out. I'm going to bring my dimensionals here. And we are going to pop up this friend. And I think I'm going to bring a small dimensional to put here with, oops, well, I actually was thinking I needed two, but fine. So one here on the horn and one here on the little birdie. And one of the things I love about dimensionals is how easier it is to take wax off. We're going to bring our friend here and it's just going to pop up so beautiful. That's our card, guys. Isn't this so very cute? I love the card as is, but I think it needs a pop of color. And so I decided to die cut this little happy little hat, festive hat, and we're going to put that on top of our friend in there. So I'm going to bring a little bit of glue and just a tiny bit to cover him. There we go. And the rest we are going to do using some bling bling bling. Okay, I'm bringing, these are called red and green adhesive back pearls. And I'm just wondering if that's really the name, but I think it is. And I'm going to bring the red ones because they will pop really, really well on that hat. Doesn't that look super cute? And I'm just going to bring a little bit more in here. One in there. So just like that, we brought some extra color to this. So I have these two pieces. They are both in old olive, and I feel like I want to break the green in here, and so I'm going to bring, and this is the tree, but nobody's going to notice. We're going to put this friend there, and then we're going to bring this one and put it in here, just like that. And I think it just gives that idea of grass. Probably there, I want it. I really like these two pieces that I add as grass. This is one of the treetops, and this is a piece that I'm not sure if it's grass or if it's a cloud, but it doesn't matter. It works really well in here, and I really like it because it kind of adds some depth to the card. I am thinking of getting one of these leaves and putting it behind him like that. And let me bring my glue. And let's see, just like that. And again, I like those details that just add some dimension to the rest of the card. What do you guys think? I really like the end result. I love the pop of color that that little bird gave us. I love the pop of color that the yellow party hat gave. And I love these dots that we added there. It just definitely brings color to the card. I am not used to make darker cards. If you want, I'm always kind of like on the softer and colorful side, But this card is going to be for my brother-in-law who loves rhinos. And so I didn't want it to have like a kiddish feel because in the end he's an adult, right? And I think this ended up being perfect for him. I end up adding this little piece. This is another leaf that comes with the dies I showed you earlier. And I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a tip or two or a trick or two for your regular paper crafting. Have a wonderful rest of your day.